All right. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We all crooked, banged up. Everybody's all banged up. Why are we crooked? I don't know why we're crooked. I got one. I fixed that for you. Try that. Guarantee it works.
8 p.m. Gentlemen's requested assistance at the ticket counter. 8 p.m. Gentlemen's requested assistance
There you go.
at the ticket counter.
Try. I don't know. Stephen Rocky Singleton. Hello, everyone from Wyoming. What is happening? We're doing the race home from the race edition here. So we are in the Orlando airport. I didn't have time to calibrate the gimbal, so we're a little crooked, but that's me. You can see Stephanie's right there. So we'll grab a quick drink. We are at a place called the Ravenous Pig. It is in Terminal C. We are in between gates 233 and 232. So we're gonna hit up just a quick beer or two and kind of give you a recap of my experience on the weekend. We talked about doing a full review with the whole team. So we'll get that scheduled as soon as we can get on the road. But for right now, I've got something set up where I'm going to get a sample of every beer, and then we'll see which one we like here. We'll do a little review of all theirs. So the Ravenous Pig, they're out of Winter Park, Florida, and we have actually been to one of their restaurants. Do you know what it's called? It's in Disney Springs. It's called the Polite Pig. I was just told that because of the word ravenous, Disney made him change it to polite, but it is the same company. They serve not only their own drafts that they make because they're a brewer, they also have, at least here at the airport, and also over at Disney Springs, on top of domestics, they do all stuff that's all from Florida. So it's all a lot of locally grown things. We're going to try their Lone Palm Golden Ale, a 5 Points IPA, a red drum, and the rotating tap, which they tell me is a chai beer. So that's what we're doing. Hey, Sam Lowe and Pearson Dallas. What's happening, everybody? Put it in order. In order. Oh, all right. Fantastic. So this is the chai. All right. This one sounds special. Sandwich? Yeah, we can order a sandwich. We're gonna order a sandwich and split it. So what is going on? It's my birthday past January 10th. Oh, happy birthday. All right, Pierce, you got it, man. Text me later. What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all having a good night. Thank you all once again for joining us. The other two, the co-host and the co-producer, Lindsay and Megan, they are driving home, so they are currently on the road on their way to Massachusetts. We hope they drive safe. They left this morning after we all had breakfast. We had a great weekend. I don't know about them. I am definitely sore still in places that I didn't know existed on my body. I'm very happy with my result. I think they all are. And Lindsay and Megan are off to run Disneyland half marathon next month, and we are going to do. Um, Pierce, that's fantastic. We are going to do something very unique when they run Disneyland. So that Disneyland race is on a Sunday. So I am going to be like the control center. I will be live streaming all morning Sunday. It'll be about 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning East Coast time, and we are going to set it up so that um, when I'm streaming, I will be the host, and they will just pop in and out as they can along their half marathon. That way, if for some reason one of their phones dies or cuts out of the stream doesn't end. So, all right, at the airport. Womp, womp. All right, let's try our first beer. So we're gonna try their red drum. So let's read what they have here. It is an American hoppy amber ale, 5.6%. Ooh, it's a good nose. Nice color too. Oh, it is not that hoppy. I mean, there are hops in it, but it's not too hoppy. Huh. All right. Good beer. Stephanie's gonna order as a sandwich too. Dude, which one are you gonna order? So here at the Ravenous Pig in the airport, they do have a menu. They have a small selection of sandwiches. They have some other snacks you can buy, and it looks like they got some wines to choose from. So they have a little bit of everything while you kind of sitting here killing time. We're gonna get the turkey and cheese sandwich. So it's smoked turkey, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomato on a toasted wheat berry bread with kettle chips. Boy, that was a good amber ale. We're gonna try the 5 Points IPA. So it's an IPA, Centennial Columbus Mosaic, Citra, Simcoe, and Warrior hops. Salute. Ooh, it's hoppy. Ah, that's great. How that's good. That's a good IPA. Yeah, yes, Dallas, I did. I did make my special stuffing. Did you order the sandwich? Yeah. Probably want to have Ah, she'll probably take it. All right. So now, sure is Pierce. It's a good IPA. So far, my favorite's the Amber. The race was interesting for me. Um, so this one here is their Golden Ale, Lone Palm Golden Ale. It is a crisp and refreshing blonde ale. Thank you. Oh, winner chicken dinner. So far. Mm. All right, that's great. Now we're gonna try their chai tea, which is their rotation on tap. Must be made with chai tea, hence the chai beer, I would assume. So, ooh, it definitely smells way different. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know how to describe that. That's like a mintiness to it almost. The chai is definitely coming out. I think I'm gonna have that amber. So anyway, I'm gonna order a big old vat of amber. Talk to you about my race experience. I don't know if Stephanie will share any of hers here, or maybe chime in. But I'm gonna go with the amber. Thank you. Mm. So, here we are. Let's talk a little bit about the race. So, we'll talk a little bit about the race. Okay, there we are. There she is. Stephanie's agreed to talk about the race. So, as you all know, we signed up a while back, and I fell off the training wagon probably about 5 months ago. I was doing okay. So when we got to this weekend, for me, my goal was to at least make the castle, because that would be a 10K. That would be half. And I wanted that iconic picture, right? Which happy to report I made. So goals accomplished. Stephanie's goal was obviously to complete it. She's been training like a machine. Uh, Very early mornings for her. What, like 4:30 in the morning? 5 maybe. So, race day experience. So, thoughts on the race day experience? It is very early. Early is a very good descriptor. Um, what time were we up? Like 2? We're up about 2 in the morning. Um,
Yeah, we were in the car by 2:50.
we were in the car by 2:15. I think Lindsay actually got up at like 1. The rest of us kind of slept as late as we could. We got to the corral. We were in the last corral, which was G, right? So we were in corral G. We were in the first wave though, and that was by design, which is why we left so early. Um, and the one thing happened we hoped wouldn't happen was it rained. Um, it rained, and it wasn't a heavy rain, but the wind was really blowing, and it made it very, very miserable for a while. We were wet. Stephanie was very smart, brought some trash bags. Um, so we stayed as dry as we could. I didn't find the ground to be too wet. I noticed, when you leave, you're about a half mile in, and the road it goes up, right? Because you're on the ramp to get of out of Epcot, and those ramps are tough. Those ramps are tough. Um, the course had some pitch to it. What did you notice about the race course?
I don't remember much about it. I was just trying to get through it.
Stephanie said, "I'm just trying to get through it." Said, "I'm just trying to get through it." So, um,
There were a couple parts that were really narrow, but everybody's things.
yeah, I would say so. Stephanie brings up a good point. There's a lot of bottlenecking on that course. So, um, instead of having like 2 or 3 lane widths to run, where everybody can kind of spread out, because there are a lot of people that walk or just really like walk run, and they're really like not fast like myself, um, and they don't stay to the right hand side to allow all the runners to actually run by. So a lot of runners weave in and out, and some of the bottlenecking, it's like a 1 lane road, and it's really. You went by the what?
The seas with Nemo. I couldn't remember if I was.
Yeah. So the bottlenecking slows you way, way down. What time? How long did it take you to do a mile? What was your first mile?
Like 14.
14:6, and my first mile was probably about a 16-minute mile. They were a few minutes ahead of me. We got there so early. We were right at. If you ever look up the race, any of the races, you see there's like a ribbon at the front of the corral that holds the people back. We were like 3 people deep from there. Um, so the bottlenecking slows everybody down. There were people running in the grass. It was awful. We had heard that there was like maybe 15,000 people at this race, which was incredible. It's the most I think they've ever had for a half, it seems. You know what I did find wild too was I found that there were a lot of people that had dropped out very early on within the first couple of miles. So they have buses every mile marker. There's a bus, and those buses were filling up like right from the get go. Like mile 1, there were people already on the bus. So there were a lot of people. The Amber Beer, by the way, thank you all for being here. There were a lot of people that just did not make it. They just, for whatever reason, they didn't make it. So, did you struggle at all?
Yes, it only ran to like mile 7.
So
Probably 8.
Stephanie's saying she ran to like mile 7 or 8,
And then I ran 10.
and then she ran till 10,
And then I walked 10 to 13.
and then she walked the last 3, 10 to 13. So, I myself, I like walk ran the whole thing. My runs were okay, but my walks were so super slow. I mean, slower than really even way slower than what I even trained at months ago. So that kind of hindered me a little bit. Um, what else? Porta potties, right? So they have porta potties. They have porta potties along the raceway, but I didn't think there were enough. Did you think there were enough?
I guess in some places, but some places there was like 100. And then other places, I think the biggest bank I saw was like 5.
Right. So I found that there were not enough porta potties. So everyone I run by, like a single or a double, there would be like, 10 people waiting in line, 15 people waiting in line. There was one bank where there was like 5. Oh, great, the food's here. Let's give you a quick look at this. And there was always lines. So like if you had to go, you ought to be quick because if not, then balloon lady's gonna catch you. Um, so look at that. There it is. Turkey. Turkey with the chips, right? So um, yeah. So I noticed that um, the road, even though it's really supposed to be like flat, it's not really flat. There's a lot of bank to it. There's a lot of pitch, so the water runs off with all that Florida rain. That was something that I wouldn't say it wasn't. It's not that it was unexpected. I was surprised at how much the angle is on the pitch for the water runoff. Um, but I got to I had about when I got to mile 1, I had a 6-minute lead and change on the balloon ladies. So I had a little more. It was like 6 minutes and like 41 seconds, I think they called out. So I knew if I just kept my pace, I would make it to get my picture. And that ended up happening. Um, almost didn't happen. So when I got to the Magic Kingdom, it was so energized. Yeah, Sam, the balloon lady's got you, huh? There was so much energy there um, that I was like in awe. So I slowed down. I took it all in because at that point I figured they were about 2 minutes behind me, and I literally like strolled um, down Main Street and around the corner into Adventureland. And then if you go back and watch the live stream, somebody comes up and one of the riders and they're like, "Hey, you got to catch up." I'm like, "What do you mean catch up? Where are they? Aren't they behind me?" He's like, "No, they're in front of you." I was like, "Uh oh." Um, as far as getting swept, you never even really feel bad to get swept. You almost feel relieved. You're like, "Thank God, this is over. I don't have to do this no more." For me, how it works is so the the balloon ladies ran by me, so they will keep pushing you to catch up to them to the next mile marker. If you can't get with them or in front of them, they'll sweep you. But before that, if you fall really too far behind the balloon ladies, when you're in the park, there are riders on bikes and there are golf carts. So if you go back and watch the stream, they had told me if I was to get too far behind and fall back to the golf cart, they would just pick me up and I wouldn't have gotten my picture. So I pushed really hard to stay in front of that golf cart to get my picture. And when I get down to my picture, if you go back and watch, you can say, "Hey, you guys are like 2 minutes behind the balloon ladies. You got to go." And there were people sprinting off, and I went, "Can I get my picture?" They're like, "Yep." I'm like, "Great." And if you listen, I'm like, "I got my picture. Where's that golf cart?" Right? So, and at the very end, if you go back and rewatch that stream, Everybody was really supportive at the end. If you saw them, I was in the golf cart. They were offering me Gatorade, and I was like, no, but I could use a good shot. Give me some whiskey. So, you know, the experience itself is not terrible. There were a lot of people on that bus that looked very exhausted. Um, it it was taxing, especially me being very undertrained. I can only imagine, you know, it looked like a lot of those other people were in the same boat for whatever reason. They were just super exhausted. A couple of them got hurt. It sounded like listening to them talk behind me on the ride back to Epcot. Um, when you get back there, you just they take you around back of the race. They let you off the bus. Um, you cross. They said we were going to cross a timing chip to acknowledge that we had finished the race, which we didn't. I don't know where that was. If we were supposed to do that, I'm not really sure. So you get off, and I mean, they're handing you the snack box. They hand you your medal right away, and they're shoving Gatorade and water into your face. You can take as much as you want. There's no limit. Um, so, you know, the experience of getting swept is really not terrible. It's all mental. You know. I would not worry about if you're gonna go do one of these Disney races being swept because they don't make you feel terrible. They're super supportive and encouraging. So that would be something that I would not fear, and I would encourage everybody to go and do it because you're not doing it really for the race. You are doing it for the experience. Um, I would suggest you being able to complete a 10K with probably a 15-minute mile. That way, it gives yourself enough time to get to the castle because completing the 10K was, if you guys watch that stream, is like right in front of Buzz Lightyear after on the way out of the Magic Kingdom. So, like if I look at my times, I see a 5 and a 10K time because that's what I completed. So that would be my suggestion. But for those of you just joining in, thank you. Hit the like button. We are at the Ravenous Pig, which is actually the Polite Pig. Disney made them change the name. We're here at the Orlando International Airport, Terminal C, right between gates 232 and 233, having a cold, refreshing beer. I'm here with Stephanie. There she is. Says hello. We are having a drink and a quick bite to eat. We got ourselves a turkey sandwich. What time is it? 7:17. We're doing good. We're gonna hang out just for a little bit. Let's see what we got here. So showed you the sandwich. Let's take a bite. Let's take a bite. Mm. Mm-hmm. That is really good. So the day after the race, or I should say, the day of the race, but after the race, we all went back to the room. Everybody for some form of a nap. I myself, while the others went to sleep right away, went and hit up the hot tub to soak my aching bones and muscles, which was awesome. So we stayed at Saratoga Springs, which is a place we've stayed before. Nice room. I would say my only problem with that place is that we were so far out. Wouldn't you agree? It's that place is so big. We were so far out that, like, you know, like after the race, just the thought of having to get ourselves all the way to like the main dining hall area, and then all the way back was like, man, I don't want to do this. So was not was not friendly. And I would say the wild thing about Saratoga is internally the busing is good, I guess, except it's really like one way. You can get yourself from the carousel where we stayed, the carousel house, up to the Springs, which is like the main hub, but there's no internal bus back. So you can, however, ask the bellhops to give you a ride. Depending upon how busy they are, determines how fast that ride comes. Could be a 2 minute wait. It would be a 20 minute wait. We ended up in Hollywood Studios yesterday. So we actually got on the majority of the rides. The only ones I didn't do were the Tower of Terror. None of us did Star Tours. Lindsay and Megan went and did the Tower of Terror. Stephanie and I did not, but we did every other ride there. We got to see the marathon runners, which is great. They were doing the full marathon at the time, so that was kind of cool to see them in the morning. Octavia, what's happening? So that was kind of neat. Every Sunday. More than 20 minutes. Dinner with my wife. So, all in all, I would say every Sunday the Run Disney race experience is good, but it's not without fault. Especially if you're like a runner, you're gonna be pretty frustrated. I'd say Stephanie and Megan and Lindsay. When we get their take on it, you're probably going to hear that, the walkers, the people that walk or like run walk, they really kind of mess things up for those people that need to run
Only if they don't
and get running. So, the run walkers that are like 5 and 6 wide really just blocking up the road are the problem. So, hey, John V, what's happening? I don't know if I've recovered, but I'm still alive. For those of you just getting here, we are about 20 minutes away from boarding our airplane. Head back to Massachusetts. We had a good weekend. Fast, furious. Now it's time to go back to reality, I guess. That's right, Dallas. I need a hot tub and a massage. That is 100% accurate. The arch of my right foot is still really angry. My legs are still a little sore, but still a little sore. Not terrible. It's just like, it's there. So, and cheese soup. Cheese soup is a must. Cheers. So, that's been kind of my thing. Although we did discover, we were talking about this earlier this morning. So Disney has this thing where if you can run a full marathon in 5 hours or less, or a half marathon in 2.5 hours or less, you can put in proof of time, and they will bump you up into a earlier corral, so you start early. You can submit a proof of time using a 10K race also. They have a formula for that to figure out if you're going to qualify for those, the 5 hour and the 2.5 hour that they'll work out. And that's great. What we also discovered, which was a little unnerving, is that Run Disney is almost like a little pay to play, because if you are a Run Disney Club member, you get early access to sign up for the races. And is that based on your level in the club?
I don't know. I think that.
So I'm not sure if it's based on just being a club member or the level of club member you are, but it automatically grants you access into the earlier corrals. So, for instance, Run Disney has like this platinum level membership. If I buy that, which is like $1,000 a year, and I was to sign up for these races, I'd probably put into corral A or B. Why would that be important? Because like corral A for the half marathon started at 5 o'clock. Our corral in G started at like 5:45. So that means all those people in corral A had a 45-minute start on the last corral. And then to boot, our corral took 15 minutes to get going. So the last person in my corral crossed the start line at like 6. So there is an hour stretch.
But only the platinum
So
membership comes with
only the
upgrade.
platinum membership comes with the upgrade. Okay. So with that said, if you were in corral A and you were in one of the first, I think there were 2 waves in corral A, you started between like 5 and like 5:15. You were a solid 45 minutes ahead of those balloon ladies, if not close to an hour. So that can give people like me an advantage. So if I was an hour ahead, that means even with my times, I would have been 3 miles ahead of the balloon ladies when they were starting. When they were starting, which would then probably put me in the running to actually finish the half marathon at the pace I was going at. Did I find Scooter Grandma? No. Hey, Red Dragon Studios. So that is kind of like pay to play, because if you have the money and you're a guy like me who's, you know, you're slow, maybe you're not well trained. Obviously, I am a very large human too. Um, you know, that can help you where you do not have to maintain the 16-minute mile requirement. At that point, you could probably have a 17 or 18-minute mile requirement. And because you're an hour ahead, or 45 minutes to an hour and ahead, that gives you enough time where you don't have to worry about the balloon ladies catching you. So, you know, those people also can get in the way of like the true runners and really wreak havoc and make it unsafe to a certain degree. There's a lot of time standing around. We stood around in those corrals trying to keep dry for how long? Maybe about 2 hours. 2.5 hours. We were standing there trying to keep dry and warm. It was a ton of standing around. Hmm? Agreed. But I'm glad so many of you were watching and that you all, you all checked in. You left some very kind words, so I appreciate that. The whole team appreciates that. And again, for those of you that did watch us, next month we'll have a live stream of the Disneyland Half Marathon where the co-host and the co-producer, Lindsay and Megan, are going to be running. You'll see me in the studio live for the whole race. We'll keep track of where they are. We're going to keep track of their times. And, when they have the ability, their cameras will be on. Sometimes they get turned off. I mean, it's YouTube and technology, and sometimes it fights with us. So we're going to do the best we can. But Pierce, I'm kind of there with you. I think I am good with 5 and 10Ks. Halves are a lot of work when you're this big. I'll give you that. And what I did essentially a 10K on Saturday, and I'm feeling it still. And it was a lot of work. A lot of work. Granted, I was I was definitely not properly trained. I just happen to have a lot of muscle and good muscle memory, I guess, from a few months back. So big man was rumbling. Mm. So for those of you just tuning in, we're at the Ravenous Pig Terminal C in the Orlando Airport. We return to reality tomorrow. Get back to work and hope the wheels haven't fallen off. Hopefully this flight's not chock full. When I signed in for our flight, Stephanie and I think, were in row 2, and the aisle seat was still open, so we may have a little room to stretch out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, that being said, I'm going to check on out of here. Thank you all for hanging out with us for the weekend. Stay tuned for some more Fat Turtle Racing stuff. 15-minute back scratcher. I wish I could get a back scratcher. So 2 of the turtles will be racing coming shortly. We're gonna do some live streaming of a full team review. We'll probably do it on a Saturday night since we're together frequently on Saturday nights. And it'll be just a good time to have us all together. So it's good. But with that being said, thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. So from the bar in the airport. Cheers. And we'll see you all real soon. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you later. Thank you.